Hey, how you guys doing? Ron Purvis here, Kentucky Fried Gamers. This will be my Gen Con wrap-up video, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Just wanted to get started out. Had a great time at Gen Con this year. Met a lot of great people, a lot of nice people. But let's go ahead and get to it. Alright, the good. Gen Con really stepped up with the will call and having it open late. I think it was actually open for 24 hours the first night. Really sped up the process, and I heard a lot of positive things, a lot of things coming from them that people liked the fact that they did that. I waited maybe 20 minutes in line for will call as opposed to the horror stories I heard from last year. So kudos to Gen Con for that. Another thing that I thought was really good was the I can't remember what they called it. It was that playtest room, play on demand game room that they had up on the second level. I heard a lot of positive things about that. Bart had a lot of really good things to say about it. Said he would definitely probably try to get back up there next year. I did see a line coming out the door, which is a good thing. If you got people waiting to get in, people are liking it. The food vendors that Gen Con had come in that were parked outside right in front of the ICC, there was quite a variety, and I heard a lot of people talking about how they enjoyed the fact that there was a variety of other foods there that they could get without having to buy whatever the ICC was offering. I know a lot of people had bad things to say about it, but I enjoyed the D&D Next playtest. I had the opportunity to play with Mike Merles. It was a great game. I have that video up. Most of you probably already seen that. It was a good game. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot of the new things that are coming up. I've got the new playtest packet downloaded. I'm going to try that out. Another really great new game that came out was the new version of the Iron Kingdoms RPG from Privateer Press. Played in that, as well as my friends Bart and Steve both played in that, and they really enjoyed it. So we're definitely going to be playing that one here at the house. See, plenty of other good stuff to talk about. There were some really great costumes I saw there. Played a lot of really good games. Got to play Vortex with my friend Scott Spear. Jim Fallon didn't make it this year. But I'm hoping to meet up with him next year. Had a good game of that. I played with him. Finally got to get a game of War Machine in with Eric from Australia. We've been trying to get together and play a game since last year. We tried the whole Gen Con last year, and this year we decided we were just going to make time to play. So we're going to make it a yearly thing every year, try to play some Worm Hordes every year. I really have to give kudos to the Gen Con staff. I didn't hear a lot of complaints. There were a few little issues that I heard about, and those of you that know what I'm talking, that are in the know about the badge Nazis, which I understand both sides of that because I know both. I know Derek pretty well, and I know the other side of the that situation pretty well, but all in all, I think that as long as people were wearing their badges, I know that they were, but I think that's a good thing to check for badges, because that keeps the people that don't pay like we do from getting in. People fork out a lot of hard-earned money to pay for their badges, and I think it's good that they did their jobs. There was so much good stuff this year. We stayed at the Homewood, great place to stay. I heard a lot of good things about several other hotels that people were talking about. All the games that I played in, I had a great time. I did miss one of my games, and I'm sorry about that. But I was in the playtest game with Mike Merles, and it ran long. Then I just couldn't make it to my other game at the JW. I heard a lot of good things about the Dealers Hall this year. I enjoyed the Dealers Hall. it seemed like there were more dealers in there. I heard that the dealers hall sold out in January this year, so that they were going to expand it next year, which is more dealers gives us a greater variety of you know, product to choose from, gaming product to choose from, which you know, the more the merrier. There's plenty of room in the game industry for expansion. I mean, there's plenty of more good things I could go over, but I mean, all in all, was a great con. Great con. Had a great time. Excuse me. Now we'll go on to the what I call the bad. All right. Right off the bat, I know people are going to know the MotoGP with the motorcycles. Having grown up around motorcycles, wasn't really an issue with me. I mean, my dad and all his buddies ride Harleys and everything, so it really didn't bother me. wasn't a big issue with me. Didn't affect me being able to sleep at night. Our room was all the way in the back corner of our hotel, so we weren't really, you know. But I understand for some people it was an issue with them revving the engines and stuff like that. So, you know, and it was crowded. I didn't hear of any really bad incidents that happened. If somebody knows of any incidents that happened between gamers and bikers, please let me know. But there were cops everywhere to avoid that situation. But, you know, I know for some people it was a bad thing because it just, you know, made it for an awkward situation for them and a lot of noise. And I'll go back to the badge people. I heard a lot of negative comments about that. There was a couple of times that my badge was flipped around the wrong way. I'm not paying attention. I mean, and the guy just about accosted me to make me turn my badge around. I'm like, all you do was ask me, dude. Don't come over and grab on me. You know, I really don't appreciate that. You know, if you want to stop somebody, step in front of them, stop them, say, please turn your badge around. Be nice about it. You know, would it kill you to use a little manners? I mean, I know most of these people standing at the doors were ICC staff. There were some volunteers that I noticed, but most of them, from what I could tell, were ICC people. And just, I mean, take a chill, relax. Another bad thing, and it pains me because some people think that everybody's out to get them or trying to get something in front of them. I walked up to the Games Workshop booth. Just standing there, was 4 or 5 people standing there. You know, a couple of them painting, doing the painting demo thing for the coupon. And I was just standing there watching, just kind of see what the model was, see what they were doing, what the model that they were giving away with the coupon. I don't know, I was standing there 2 or 3 minutes, and another guy from the booth walked up and said, who needs a Mini? Well, there was somebody standing here next to me, and we both were like, well, yeah, we'll get one. So I dug my coupon out, and some guy in line decided that I was jumping in line. You know, there wasn't a line. There was 4 or 5 people standing right there at the booth. You know, and he got all red and bent out of shape about it, and I'm like, I hope you had a good con, dude, because I had a wonderful con, despite the fact that, you know, you were a Class A prick. But that's beside the point. Some other bad stuff. I know that I talked to the Dwarven Forge guys, and some people were, you know, walked off with a couple of pieces off of their, you know, setup. You know, people, if you can't afford it, make it or buy something else. Don't steal it. There's no excuse for stealing whatsoever. You know, it irks me when people do that. And I heard just a few other things, you know, people missing, you know, product. And I know that in a convention that size, it's going to happen, you know, but it's one of those little things that gets to me, you know. I know that some people were really not happy with the way Wizards of the Coast ran their assembly line with their dice. You know, it seemed like it was more just they were using the dice to get people in to play the games instead of just wanting people to come play the games. And I understand that was a marketing thing, you know, to get people in. You give them something to come try this out. But the bad is that I went in there and I decided, you know, I'm not a big fan of 4th edition. But my son couldn't go, so I decided I was going to try to collect a set of dice for him to bring back to him. Kind of like, here, you didn't get to go, but here's you a set of Wizards dice. There was guys sitting in there, and I asked the people about it, and I said, can you take generics here? Because I had some generics, and they're like, yeah. It's like, the line's right there. There's 5 or 6 guys sitting down there, and I was like, oh, that's cool. That's not too bad. And I said that out loud. I said, that's not too bad. I'll just get in line there. And the one guy sitting there, he said, you might want to think about that. And I said, why? He said, I've been here for an hour and 20 minutes. And I'm like, and there was nobody at the table playing. I understand that it's a ticketed event. And it starts, on times. But if somebody's not there for that ticketed event, and you got people standing there waiting, play them. If you're not there in 10 or 15 minutes, sorry about your luck, buddy. Move on. And that's the one thing that I hate. If I hate to miss a game, if I'm going to be late to a game, it's one thing. Hopefully, I would try to know the guy or try to get word to him that I'm going to be late or that I'm not going to show up at all. But if you're not going to show up at all to a game, and then you're going to sit there and make people wait, poor decision for Watsy to just make these people sit there for an hour and 20 minutes. And why would he have been sitting there for an hour and 20 minutes if there was nobody at the table? Granted, maybe he'd been sitting there while they were playing another game, and he'd only been sitting there for another 20 minutes or something since they ended the game. But, still, that was a poor decision. Also, even though I enjoyed the D&D playtest, the bad part about it was they should have held a different session for character creation. That should not have been included in the actual D&D Next playtest part. I heard rumors that in another convention, the D&D Next playtest was an actual 4-hour event instead of 2 hours. We got 48 minutes of playtime, actual game, RPG playtime for the D&D Next thing. And kudos to my GM. I really, really appreciated the fact that you moved things along to try and at least get us to accomplish one of the goals in the scenario. That's the mark in my book of a true good GM, one that can skip ahead or move things along to a point to where you can get something accomplished, especially at a convention, which I know is hard. I've run games at conventions, and it is hard. So kudos to you. Thank you. There was a couple of other bad things that I'd been told about. Right now, I don't really mention. I know that I read some things on the forums about some guys running up behind women in cosplay or in fairly skimpy costumes, like running right up to behind them and taking pictures, up close pictures of their butts and stuff. And it's like, I don't know really how I feel about that. I don't know personally that I would like that. If it was my wife or girlfriend in cosplay. But if they're dressing like that, you got to expect there's going to be some creepy dudes taking pictures of them. Now, getting that close, that's kind of a violation of personal space, in my opinion. And, yeah, I probably would have knocked the dude's teeth down his throat if he'd got that close. But that's just me. Some people are a little cooler about it. Some of the women are a little cooler about it. Some of them want that attention, some of them don't. It's that's one of those catch-22s. It's like, good, bad, you don't know. So just use a little respect and tact when you're taking pictures, guys. Wipe the drool off your chin a little bit. I know there are some very beautiful women and some very revealing costumes there this year. So just, be respectful and use a little tact. Let's see. Now, I don't really have any ugly. I guess maybe that situation at the GW booth I talked about, which was bad, but it didn't really turn ugly. I just walked off. I was the better person. I just turned my back on the dude and walked away. I came back to the GW booth later and got the miniature to give to my 7-year-old, because that's all I wanted it for anyway. For him, it was a little goblin figure, this little thing right here, little goblin figure that I got for my 7-year-old to paint on. No big deal. Don't get bent out of shape over a 2-cent piece of plastic, dude. Take a chill. Enjoy the con. And that's, the crowds weren't that bad this year to me. I guess if I have to say the one ugly or bad part, I was filming, and you can see it in my costume walk video. They're over there, and they start splitting them off, and you know, running here and running there, trying to split everybody off right there at the end. And it's like, you need to just let them walk on through. There's people taking pictures, video, all kinds of stuff. You know, I don't know. They were just screaming and yelling at the people in line, you know, here, there, here, there. And I mean, I understand that you've got so many people and you got to get them moving and going through, but it seems like sometimes they just get so, you know, power mad or something. I don't know. They get all bent out of shape if somebody's not doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Relax. Chill. It's just a gaming convention. I mean, some people get too serious about this stuff. You know, that about covers the good, the bad, and the ugly for the actual Gen Con. I'm going to kind of backwind a little bit here. I'm going to talk about KFG Wednesday Gaming. I actually didn't make it into Wednesday afternoon. From everything I'm told, it went great. There were no major issues. The folks at the Ram were awesome. Ross, we appreciate it. And, you know, Scotty's went great. As always, Dave, we appreciate it. We thank you for, you know, you put yourself out for us. You and Ross both put yourself out for us. And, of course, this is our KFG banner right behind me here. This was hanging at Scotty's throughout the whole Gen Con. And from my understanding now, we were going to get another banner to hang at the Ram again, but from my understanding now, they have an exclusive with Privateer Press, which means they're only going to hang Privateer Press banners there from now on. Sorry. But the gaming at the back room at the Ram, Bart was over there all day long. Went good. I came in when I first got into town. I stopped at the Ram first because Bart and I were crashing. You know, I was sharing a room with Bart and our other friends, and so I had to get a room key and stuff to get in. And the place was packed. Everybody was, you know, playing games, having a good time. And then when I left there, I went to Scotty's after I dropped all the stuff off at my room. And there were a lot of people in there. And special thanks to the guy that took over running my Munchkin game for me at Scotty's. Thank you. I appreciate it. Our KFG dice were a big hit. I'll put a picture at the end of this. It was Outhouse on a 1, and it said, "Oh crap, KFG 2012." We handed those out at the Ram and at Scotty's for our morning and afternoon games. So, you know, we're trying to plan, you know, to do some more dice for next year, but our event just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and we gave out almost 300 dice on Wednesday. So, you know, we've got to look at that because, you know, basically that's just me and Bart, and more Bart this year than me, for obvious reasons. But yeah, Wednesday gaming was great. Wednesday night we had the Play with the Creator with Brendan LaSalle, who wrote X-Crawl. Came in. Of course, he ran 2 games. Well, he was going to run a morning game, and nobody showed up. And he ran an afternoon game, and then he ran one in the back room at Scotty's Wednesday night that was a full house. And everybody, I went in there and talked to everybody, and everybody had a great time playing his game. So hopefully, he said he's going to be back again next year running X-Crawl at Wednesday. So if you guys enjoyed it, be sure to, you know, come in early and sign back up. We're hoping to try to get something in the email blast. I'm going to try to be better about getting out videos before the hotel reg opens up for Gen Con, so that if you guys do want to come in early for Wednesday gaming, you will be aware of it. I know that I've heard people talk before that they would have come in and, you know, participated, but, you know, they had no place to stay Wednesday night because they weren't, you know, or Tuesday night because they, you know, were coming in. You know, it makes for an awkward situation. You know, people want to do something, but then they can't because they weren't aware of it. So we're going to try to push Gen Con to kind of help us a little, help us promote it a little, to get the word out You know, it's only going to help everybody get more free games in. Yeah, Wednesday was great. You know, I heard a couple of bad things Wednesday night about some service at Scotty's. I made Dave aware of it, but I also heard some other things about some of the servers at Scotty's and at the Ram. That especially, I know the first incident at Scotty's, one of my friends, one of the guys rooming with us that came from here, said he waited for, you know, over 20 minutes for a server to come to him so he could get his drink, and she never showed up. So he just left and went to actually went to the Ram, and he actually texted me and said, "Imagine that." He said, "I was here 5 minutes and a lovely lady come over and asked me if I'd like a drink." So, you know, I mean, I understand with a con that size that it's hard not to get some bad service, but you need to make the managers aware of it. Don't be afraid, you know, to make somebody mad. You know, and I'm not. You know, that's just me. I mean, because I know Dave and I know Ross. You know, if I'm getting bad service, I'm letting them know, and I'm letting them know who the server is. You know, I'm sorry if that hurts somebody's feelings, or if somebody says, "Oh, I wouldn't do that." Well, that's fine. You don't do that, but I'm going to, because that's the only way to help improve somebody, you know, as a server. If they get some feedback saying, "Hey, you should have done this, 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 or this," you know, they're not going to fire them over it, but they are going to correct them, and, you know, maybe they'll become a better server because of it. So, but, you know, and we always try to emphasize to make sure for you guys to tip, you know, your waiters and waitresses accordingly. You know, they work hard, they bust their humps through Gen Con. You know, we've got one specific waiter at the Ram that he takes care of us in the back room during Wednesday gaming. He has every year, and he's awesome. You know, so we make sure, we always ask Ross, "Is he working? Is he working?" And he's always asking him. It's like, "I want that back room for them guys." So he takes care of us. But, you know, both establishments are great. I understand that, you know, they had some long lines and some long waits. I know that Scotty's went above and beyond with their patio area, so they probably had more space to put people. So the wait was probably a little less. But I mean, there's plenty of options in downtown Indy to eat, guys. Don't feel like you have to visit those two. But, you know, if you're coming in on Wednesday to do Wednesday gaming, that's where we're going to be. If you're looking for us, we're either going to be at Scotty's or at the Ram, chances are, for Wednesday gaming. We also are just coming up, I don't know if those of you that might have been on our Facebook page might have seen it, our dice this year, we had 6 different colors, and we're actually going to offer, if people want to buy a full set, because we didn't realize that people would actually going to want a full set, just because they were different color. So if you go to our Facebook page, there's a place on there, or you can go to our, they're trying to get an actual link up on our actual web page where people can go in and purchase a full set of the KFG dice, the 6 KFG Oh Crap dice. I'll put a link in the description of the video here, so you guys can just click and go right straight to it. Let's see, what else do I want to cover? Covered the good, covered the bad. There really wasn't any major ugly. Covered KFG Wednesday gaming. I don't know that there was much else. You know, it was much, much better this year than it was last year. I mean, even though I have a great con every year, I've never had a bad Gen Con. There were things that I could see for improvement. There were some, you know, some folks I really didn't get to see this year that I wish I had. Maybe because I didn't come in till Wednesday afternoon due to unforeseen circumstances, because usually I'm there Tuesday afternoon and I get Tuesday evening and all day Wednesday to hang out and visit with people I probably won't see the rest of the con. But, you know, other than that, it was a great con, guys. I give kudos to Gen Con, you know, for, you know, the effort they've made. You know, they've come a long way. This was their 10th year in Indy. They've come a long, long way from that first few years. You know, and it's just like anything. The more you learn, the better you can make it. The one thing I will say, and I just remembered the other thing I wanted to talk about that was kind of a bad thing, is I hear about, you know, taking other event tickets for generics. My advice to Gen Con would be do one or the other. I know you don't promote that widely because then people skip events and just go to another event and use that ticket. Pick one. Either make sure that everybody's aware that they're allowed to take those as generics, or don't do it, and you either have to turn them in for credit and, you know, take that fee, you know, that whatever % fee off that, you know, from a return ticket or whatever, and eat it. You can either one or the other. You know, don't, you know, but everybody needs to be made aware of it, because I heard people showing up at events that they're like, no, we don't take those. We're not going to be taking those. And I've heard other people say that they were told not to take those, not to take anything but either real generics or event tickets. So Gen Con needs to make up their mind there and do one or the other. But other than that, I give 2 big thumbs up to Gen Con this year. Had a great con. I'm looking forward to next year. So you guys get out there, get on the Gen Con forums, get on the Gen Con Facebook page. You know, if you're interested in joining one of the groups on the forums, you know, there's all kinds of them. There's, you know, us, the KFG. There's the Gamer Wenches, the Gen Con UN. There's a bunch of them. Gamers for Humanity, Gamers After Dark. There's all kinds of groups in there that you can get in there and, you know, find somebody that has similar interests to you. You know, so just get out there. You know, don't be afraid. I mean, we're a friendly bunch. Yeah, sure, there's some old cronies on there, but we'll run them off. But get on there, ask questions. Feel free to ask questions, please. Get in there, make yourself known, introduce yourself, and then we'll meet you in person next year. So, until next year, guys, hope to see you next year at Gen Con, and be ready. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.